former Trump campaign senior trade and jobs advisor Curtis Ellis is with us, and Francis Newton-Stacy, director of portfolio strategy at Optimal Capital Solutions. Good to see you both. Thanks for being here. Francis, today's market spasm, let's start there.
Yes.
Does it continue on Monday?
That's a great question, and it depends largely on news. I noticed that he waited until after the market closed to announce his additional retaliatory tariffs. But the problem is that the market is desperately trying to price this in. The good news today is the VIX did not make a new high. That's the volatility index. And the market did not take out the recent lows from the last 2 weeks. So that's good news if the market holds there, if they think that they have this recent development priced in. If not, this is a heavily news-driven event. So it's going to increase the volatility. And as a market person, I feel like the child in a divorce, like the innocent child in a divorce.
Let me just ask, because today, of course, the market moved on China news, but the president is going to Europe. And we have chinks in our armor with Europe as well. I mean, they want to put new taxes on, new regulations. There's apparently this manifesto that's circulating among European members that are going to be meeting with the president about some kind of tariffs that they may be putting on our product. So what happens if we get bad news like that over the weekend to markets here on Monday?
So tariffs from Europe is going to be new additional bad news. And I do see the market selling off quite substantially. But if it's whether or not we take out the May low, first of all, and then below the May low, we have the December low. And so traders and market people and investors are going to be watching this. But I can tell you, investors are getting ever more defensive. We know that they're screaming into the bond market because those yields keep dropping and that curve was inverted, more today than it ever has been before.
When they take money out of stocks, they put it into bonds, and that's why that's going up. Okay, Curtis, President Trump, in talking about the new Chinese tariffs, mentioned that they were politically motivated. Explain.
Right. Well, we've seen that the Chinese have been putting tariffs on American farm goods. And in addition to putting the tariffs on the farm goods, they then take out advertising supplements in the Des Moines Register explaining how this trade war is hurting farmers. They are using tariffs as economic sanctions to influence our election.
They're trying to prevent a re-election of Donald Trump.
Exactly. And while the Democrats are all in a tizzy about Russia interfering in our election, they're absolutely silent about China's blatant interference in our electoral process. They are targeting political constituencies and using tariffs to do it. And, it's interesting that while Mnuchin and Bob Lighthizer were in China a couple of weeks ago trying to negotiate an end to China's economic aggression, you saw Kamala Harris and the Democrats on stage saying, we will get rid of these tariffs. We will get rid of the Trump tariffs against China.
Of course, the Democrats are in a tizzy because then you have Schumer saying the president's doing the right thing with the tariffs.
That's right.
They've got to straighten that up. But I want to know about our relation, particularly Donald Trump's relationship with President Xi, which had been kind of cordial in the past. Is that cordiality going to be gone now?
Well, it sure looks like President Xi's got a little more problem than he ever had before. The president has been, as a good negotiator, he said, this is not a personal thing, this is business. I have a great personal relationship with you, but I want to buy your company.
But now he's calling the president the enemy.
Yeah.
That's a different way of approaching the negotiation.
This is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. As Peter Navarro was saying, this is not about trade or the simply trade. This is a national security issue now.
Can markets go up if the trade tensions continue through the election?
Well, at a certain point, markets are going to try to price this in, and they're also going to try to price in the 75 basis point cuts that we expect from the Fed. That's what the Fed futures are telling us for the January contract.
75 basis. That's pretty close to the president's what the president wants, which is a full percentage point.
And so they're going to be paying a lot of attention to these two news items. Interestingly, today the market didn't move on Powell because it's not a policy meeting. They're in Jackson Hole having their conference or whatever. But I just think that I don't know is the answer to your question. It's going to be really interesting to see if they become numb to it. But the thing is that people are getting hurt in the interim, and the farmers are getting hurt, and people's stock accounts are getting hurt. And everyone has a threshold where it's too much
We all
pain.
want it to work, but we want it to work the right way.
Yes.
Final comment. We only have 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think the market's going to realize that this is a long-term proposition. There might be a little pain right now. Not maybe, there is a little pain for some people, but let's put it in perspective. We're talking about a few $100 billion worth of goods in a multi-trillion-dollar economy. I was talking to farmers over the weekend. They want to see a right deal, a good deal with China. They want China to play by the rules. They're willing to play the long game on this.
All right, but a deal would be a good deal would be a good thing, right?
And it's
I
going to
think
take
we'd
a
all
while to
agree
get
on that.
there.
Francis, Curtis, great to see you both. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.